everybody, good evening and welcome back to the Dugout Football channel for the live match preview of Liverpool against AFC Bournemouth. Yes. Managing to get back after that shit show against Manchester United on Monday evening. I am delighted to say that I've been joined by a guest that you saw on the channel back in, I think it was June or July, when we were obviously talking about the promoted clubs coming up to the Premier League. It is Mr. Craig Beazley. How are you, mate?
Yeah, all good. Thanks, Douglas. And yeah, pleasure to be back on the show. Good to get the season underway. Of course, it's weird being in this position where we're actually above Liverpool after 3 games. I don't think that's going to last for much longer, to be fair.
To be honest, it's just been a very strange start to the season. I didn't actually think we would have this bad start, but it's just been one of those seasons so far. But we are only obviously 3 games into the season. But no, it's a pleasure to have you. Just tell people where they can find you very, very quickly.
So the channel is called UTC IAD, so that stands for Up the Cherries in all departments. So on there we've got preview shows. In fact, Douglas, you was on the preview show with Harry Redknapp, weren't you?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, it's about 2.5 hours, so you might not want to watch it all in the one go, but break it into several if you wish. But we've also got interviews with former players, some celebrities on there, former owners, former managers, you name it. There's loads of content on there, so please do check us out.
Yeah, definitely, it is a very, very, very good channel, and yeah, that Harry Redknapp one was very, very good. I must say,
cheers, mate.
As well. Yeah, my pleasure. And good evening to Jordan Hyman. We got to. I thought, to be honest, we have to try and get a performance, let alone a win. In all honesty, but yeah, guys, obviously like, share, and subscribe. Do what you can to support the channel. We will speak about obviously Bournemouth season so far. Now, it is 1 win and 2 defeats, but I have to say, from looking at your game against Aston Villa, I was very, very impressed. I was impressed with the fact that you went ahead very, very early. And I thought you were very, very good against Aston Villa. If you give Kiefer Moore the service that he was given against Aston Villa, he will definitely score goals. How have you found your start to the season?
So the Villa game, as you mentioned, was unexpected. The reason why it was so unexpected is because of our defensive issues. So we had Lloyd Kelly, but last season we was playing a back 4, so you had Zamora, Adam Smith on the right. That was fine, but it was in the centre. We had Lloyd Kelly at the start of the season last year. We had Zino Ibsen-Rossi, who is now at Cambridge. He only played 4 games. He did actually quite well, so I was quite disappointed that we actually let him go permanently to Cambridge. In come Gary Cahill. Cahill was solid as a rock. We got 37 points out of the first 15 games in the Championship. We was top of the league, firing on all cylinders. And then he got injured against Millwall. We did have a defeat by Preston. Don't know why we always seem to get beat by Preston. Doesn't matter what level, we could draw them in the cup. They could be in League 2. We could be in the Premier League. We still get beat by them. They're just one of those teams. They're just one of those teams for us. So he got injured, and then Steve Cook come back. Now, I did an interview on the channel with Steve Cook, and he'd been out for 20 games. So he'd effectively been dropped from Scott Parker's team. He did get an injury in the playoffs against Brentford the year before. But that was the longest period of time. And this shows how loyal and how good Steve Cook was for us. That was the longest period of time Steve Cook had ever been out of our side. He come back in and was brilliant. Against Fulham, he threw himself in the front of the ball twice. Stopped him getting through, was really, really impressive. It was rumoured that he was going to go to QPR. In fact, in the end, he went to Forest, which was a bit of a weird one because, of course, they were shooting up the league. They were bottom after 7 games with 1 point, but they'd really hit form. If you went from that 8th game onwards, they would have won the league without a shadow of a doubt. So we sold him and bought in Nat Phillips. And after one shaky start against Bournemouth, everybody probably remember that one. It was an atrocious performance from absolutely everybody on the pitch that day. We started to really. He was brilliant. We started to really gel. The one criticism of Scott Parker was, does he have a plan B? And that plan B was Kiefer Moore. But just going back to that Villa game, because I've deviated a little bit away, the context there was that we had to start the season with Chris Metham. Now, Chris Metham had disappointed us in so many occasions. And, he didn't look... He looks like he can do it for Wales, but he didn't look like he could do it for Bournemouth. And that game, he was fantastic. He was brilliant. If he could play like that every week, he would no doubt be a starter. And, we wouldn't even have had to look elsewhere. So that's why it was so pleasing, because I thought, I could see Villa beating us, and quite heavily as well. Jefferson Lerma was excellent. He filled in at the back. Of course, he got his goal after 3 minutes. And then Kiefer Moore, again, he's not the fastest player out there. But what he does do is you give him an opportunity, and one-on-one with goalkeeper, he will 9 times out of 10 score. He scored that most important goal against Forest in that big game at the end of last season. And, I'm sure that he'll be a real asset to us. I don't know whether or not he would be a starter. I think we probably would have to go with Solanke, because he does offer a bit more pace. He pulls the ball back and makes things happen. He's been out for the past 2 games. So he was out against Arsenal. He was also out against Man City.
Yeah.
And the manner of those defeats, Man City, you can see why they are, and sorry to say this, why they are currently Premier League champions. They're a very good side. We kept Haaland quiet, but they've got so much quality all over the pitch that it was always going to be difficult for us. Against Arsenal do, again, look very good. Probably made it easy for them in the first 10 minutes. And we went 2-0 down, completely capitulated. To be fair, we would have been down against any team in the Championship, on that performance, probably in the first half an hour. As soon as that was over, we started to get things going. We didn't really test Ramsdale at all, which was a shame. But you could see the quality. The third goal was unbelievable from Arsenal, and I think they're going to be right up there. They are going to be title challengers, and we might have conceded 7, scored 0, but personally, these were bonus games. And likewise, I think Saturday is again a bonus game where if we can get some points, great. If we don't, it's not the end of the world. Our season really starts on the Tuesday, the Wednesday, which is against Wolves.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, you look at the 3 games in a row. Like it's not the nicest. Manchester City, Arsenal, and Liverpool as well. But maybe it's the best time to play us. We shall
maybe so. We get these games out of the way, and we can start to make things move. And I'm sure that we'll get a little run going together at some point. We're not a poor side. We do play some really good football at times. Scott Parker has mixed it up. He's not actually playing the way he did in the Championship, which is quite pleasing, actually. So it shows that he is quite flexible, which is one of the concerns that Fulham fans mentioned to us when he actually took over.
Yeah, definitely. Jazz158, I think you are new to the channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. Would love a win, but with our injuries in form now, LFC are unpredictable results. That is an understatement. That is definitely an understatement. Jack Mack, hello, my friend. Big up, lads. Craig, I'm worried to see Kiefer Moore up against Trent at the back post. He needs to isolate Trent, similar to what Fulham done week 1. And then he has got... Oops, it is. He says, massive thank you, mate, for the super chat last night. You are very, very welcome, my friend. Very, very welcome indeed. And to say hello, I think we should send Fofana on to Bournemouth. Tell you something. Bournemouth would take a defender like Fofana.
Yeah, I think we would do. I wouldn't turn that down at all.
It's a strange one with Fofana, actually, but yeah, obviously, I think Leicester are wanting him off the wage bill. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, obviously, win against Villa, and obviously 2 big defeats against Arsenal, Manchester City, and obviously got Liverpool away. But I look at like the last couple of games between the sides, and there's not been much between them. Like the last time you played us at Anfield, it was a 2-1 win to us. I think you went ahead that game as well through Callum Wilson, if I seem to remember.
We were, yeah. Actually, in fact, that was the last game before COVID. And
yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last game before COVID. And personally, if the season had continued on from that point, I think we would have stayed up. The main reason being is we drew against Chelsea the week before. We was getting some decent results. After Project Restart, we just couldn't get it going. And was it that there was lots of questions around that? There was whether or not Ryan Fraser had upset the whole dressing room. Of course, he refused to play the remainder of the games, which was a shame. I think Eddie felt a bit let down. Maybe Eddie's preparation for Project Restart wasn't the greatest. I don't think anybody's really was, but I think ours in particular wasn't particularly good. We did start to get it together at the end. We did beat that blue lot across the park. 3-1 last game of the season, but it didn't count for anything. And those pictures were quite sad. But we have had some really good duels with Liverpool. Of course, one of the biggest memories is the 4-3 win against Liverpool.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that very, very well. I remember that very well.
Nathan Ake. So, we have had some really good duels with Liverpool. I think Liverpool have improved, though, to a point which is going to make it very, very difficult, even in the current situation. And there's probably added impetus now on this game that Jurgen Klopp wants to get Liverpool back to winning ways. And what better place to do it than a newly promoted team who have had just come off the back of 2 really tough results.
Yeah, definitely. But I actually look at your 2 results against City and Arsenal, and actually, I don't think you deserve to lose 4-0 against City. Maybe 3-0 against Arsenal was probably flattered you because they kind of they played really, really well. But I think going into this game, our confidence is shot. Our confidence will definitely be shot. So if you get we've conceded in the last 7 out of the last 8 games at the first goal. So if you get the first goal, makes it very, very interesting on Saturday. He's a petulant child. Yes, he certainly is, Fofana. Seems like he wants to leave. Jack's asking, and can he play centre mid? Yeah, we will talk about our midfield struggles because, more injuries anyway. But we will move on. And one of the big questions is, can you survive this season? I mean, you are sitting 15th at the moment. Many pundits alike, many YouTubers have said that they think Bournemouth will be going down. But on the back of you watching your last 3 games, do you think you've got enough to stay up?
I think so. if we base it on that Aston Villa performance, if we can replicate that against the likes of Wolves, Brighton, Brentford, the teams that we should be getting results from, Fulham, Nottingham Forest, those are the ones where the points need to come. And I think on that basis, I think, yes, we can. It's going to be a struggle. It's going to be tight. But personally, I think there's 3 teams worse than us in this league. And, wow, Fulham won at the weekend. But I thought that they were one of them. So we're probably down to 2 that I'm certain we're better than. And that's Southampton. Even though they signed a Rebo, I think, they are going to struggle. Ward-Prowse goes. And, I'd love for somebody to sign him just to upset them. But, Ward-Prowse goes. I think they're going to struggle. And I think the blue lot across the park, I think they're going to be in right dire straits. And I think somebody will fall out of the pack. At the moment, Leicester are looking a bit shaky. I think they probably got enough. I still wouldn't write off Fulham. Brentford, even despite their fantastic win against Manchester United, to be honest, my local Parkside could have beaten Manchester United that day. So I think that, they could be in there. So it's going to be tight. Wolves is another one as well. I think I don't think they've really done great business in the transfer window. I think, I've got a few concerns. I did say Leeds at the start of the season, but after their start, don't know. I really don't know about them.
I have to say as well, like you look at the teams like in and around you, the present moment. Like Everton, I think everyone expected them to struggle. I mean, how they won 1-0 last night against Fleetwood, I'll never know. They badly need to sign a striker before the window's over, because I honestly don't see Everton doing well this season. I think they're one of the ones to challenge for sure. Southampton.
There's a horrible rumour going round actually about Everton at the moment that they are after Dominic Solanke, along with Leicester. Yes. Dominic Solanke's been out for the past 2 games. I believe it is an injury. I think he is quite loyal to the club. But how much are Everton offering? How much can Everton offer? It might be Leicester. It might be that Everton are, would love to sign him. But I think Leicester have got the buy-in power. Everton, well, I'd be surprised if he goes there, to be fair.
I can't see it, especially having Liverpool sort of heritage as well when he was there, and obviously Bournemouth and Liverpool obviously got history and obviously transfers. We seem to be at one point your feeder club because you were signing Brad Smith, Jordan Ibe, Dominic Solanke.
Only one of those 3 have really made it, to be honest, though, Doug. So Brad Smith, wow, the less said about it, the better. Jordan Ibe, on his day, is a decent enough player, or has the ability to be a decent enough player. Problem with Jordan Ibe is that he will take on players, he will beat that player, he will then turn around and try and beat that player again and then lose the ball. He will also not really pass as well to somebody else. His awareness, although he had a very, very good game against Arsenal and scored against them to win 2-1, but that's probably the most 15 million for one really, decent performance isn't good business, really, is it?
Yeah, I know. And obviously, as I said, Dominic Solanke returning to Anfield for the first time as a visiting player. Hello, Mike Green. Hope you're good, my friend. He's actually gone for Bournemouth 20th, so hopefully they will prove you wrong, Mike. Wolves have brought on Guedes and Nunez and Collins, some great signings. Hello, Ali News as well. Hope you are well as well. But yeah, we will speak about, obviously, about your transfers because you have brought a few in. Now, at the start of the time when obviously the Premier League season had started, I think you'd only brought in, I think it was Marcus Tavernier and I think as well Ryan Fredericks. But ever since then, you've obviously brought in Marcus Senesi. You have brought in Neto, and you have obviously brought in Joe Rothwell as well. Do you expect any more transfer business coming in at Bournemouth before the window closes? I think is it Monday? I think it closes.
It is, yes. I think we're meant to be in for Ben Brereton Diaz of Blackburn. I think that wouldn't be a bad signing at all. What does he offer? Maybe Solanke and Kiefer Moore don't. I'm not really sure. But he's got a decent enough record for Blackburn. Ever since he changed his name and added Diaz to the end, he seems to really shut up. Also, there's some very, very good Coca-Cola adverts that you can find online. Do have a search for those because he's pouring Coca-Cola into a teacup for some reason over in Chile. But I think he will probably be the last signing. That rumour's been going around for some time, so I think there is some substance behind it. Apart from that, I'm not sure. Somebody mentioned Maitland-Niles to me. That would be quite an interesting one. So, yeah, we'll see. But I can't imagine it being as busy as it was in January. On deadline day, we actually signed 5 players. We did try and go in for Joe Rothwell back then. Blackburn were unwilling to sell, and then he joined us on a free. I don't think Joe Rothwell was very happy with not being allowed to join the club at that point. Instead, we signed Todd Cantwell. It's worked out as better business for us, really, because Todd Cantwell wasn't really up to it. So we let him go back to Norwich. Rothwell was out of contract. We signed him on a free. Fredericks coming on a free. Neto was on a free. So sensible business. Tavernier, I believe, was about the 12 million mark, and Senesi was 15 million. And he does look like a good defender. He's not particularly shone so far, but that was against Arsenal and in a cup game against Norwich. So, we'll let him off. We'll give him a bit more time. I think, we'll see what he does against the teams that we should be competing against rather than teams in that top 6.
And obviously you brought in Neto as well. Do you expect him to be the number 1 goalkeeper going forward, or do you think it's going to be still Mark Travers?
I don't think Travers has done anything wrong. Until Travers does something wrong, I think he's got to be given the nod. He's been fantastic for us. And in fact, before Ramsdale got his season effectively in the Premier League, we played Tottenham Hotspur and we beat them 1-0. They did help us out a little bit. They did go down to 9 men. But Travers, until that point, was absolutely outstanding. He was saving anything. There were some really difficult shots that had come in. Kane and Son were on form. We kept him at bay, which was, a great achievement, really. And I expected him to actually be the number 1 for the following season. Of course, Ramsdale's come back from AFC Wimbledon, and the rest is history. But personally, I think it's Travers' position to lose at the moment. As good as Neto is, I think he once he makes a mistake, I think Neto would come in. And I think Neto at that point will be very difficult to take the jersey off because he's a very good goalkeeper. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, definitely. You're not a Brazilian international goalkeeper if you're a very, very good goalkeeper. But I have
Never
to say,
expected that in League Two, did we?
I have to say as well, I remember that Spurs game, the 1-0, because I think Son was sent off, I seem to remember. And was it
Yes.
1-5?
I think you might be right. I'll have to check that. Bit
I
of
think it
googling.
was.
Bit of googling.
I know. I have a funny feeling it was 1-5 because there was a story about him that he went to Villarreal almost immediately after that game.
You're right.
And
1-5 it was.
1-5, yeah. Two stupid challenges, I seem to remember. I think Sons
Yes.
was a two-footed one, and then Fife was a really bad one, actually. 2 feet off the ground, if I seem to remember. So, yeah. Look, I think you've done some very, very good business so far, and it remains to be seen if you bring in somebody else. But yeah, I think Ben Barrett and Diaz would be a very good signing. I've been impressed with him at Blackburn recently, and obviously this season as well. I do a lot. I do watch a lot of the Championship actually, and he started the season like a house on fire. So but I think he does want to leave. So that could be one that could maybe go on deadline day. I think that might be one that could go on deadline day, but we shall see anyway. But let me just jump into the comments again. Mike Green says, I think you'll bounce back 3-1 Liverpool. I really hope so. I really, really hope so. Hello, Brian. I hope you're good. Hello, 1878 casuals. Liverpool suck. Enjoy your first win. What I will say is don't get too carried away because anything could happen. Anything can happen. But no, you deserved your win the other night, 1878 casuals. You
is that an Everton fan, is it?
I think it's a Man United fan, I think.
Oh, is it?
Huddersfield Town Fan TV, Ryan. Hello, hope you are well, my friend. Good to see you in here. He says, good luck, Bournemouth. Hope you stay up. And then we've got Ian Barron in. Hi, guys. It's your favourite Darlington FC fan back. Hope you're well. I can remember Darlington FC playing Bournemouth back in the day. How the clubs have changed.
Gosh, yes, I can as well. Some years ago that was. And, of course, minus 17 seasons. Say no more about that period.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we won't go back to those days anyway. And Liz, hello, hope you're good, Liz. Thank you very much for tuning in as always. And then Ali News says we will win this time, but now everybody have high morale when they play against us. Klopp needs to check Barella. He is a free agent. Is Barella a free agent? Interesting. I don't think he is, yeah, it could be interesting. But actually, let's just talk about Liverpool because our struggles definitely in midfield. So is definitely midfield a target for Bournemouth to target Liverpool on Saturday?
Well, you know what? I said this to an Arsenal fan, and I think we had, even in the Championship, we had a Premier League midfield. We've got the likes of Lerma. We've got Lewis Cook, Philip Billing. We've got Ryan Christie, of course, signed from Celtic.
Yeah,
I think he's taken to it like a duck to water. Marcus Tavernier as well, good quality left midfielder. Again, I think he's good quality. You've got Jayden Anthony, Ben Pearson, if it needs to get a little bit messy in there as well. So there is lots of good quality in our midfield. It's our strength. It is our strength.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it didn't really shine that way against Arsenal, or it didn't shine that way for half an hour. I expected Ben Pearson to put the cat amongst pigeons against Granit Xhaka and so on in the Arsenal midfield. It just didn't happen. And let's be fair, that first goal where Jesus just dribbled round, he's a quality player, but surely somebody could have stopped him. We could have put two men or, made him to make a pass, which, may have been successful. They may still have got the goal, but at the same time, made it a bit more difficult for him.
Yeah, definitely. But I have to say, I think Jesus has started the season really, really well.
Such a good player.
Yeah, you just met him on a really, really bad day. But no, I think you're absolutely right. When I look at your midfield, Jefferson Lerma is a player I've always admired. Likes to dig into tackles as well, which is always good to see.
Yeah, he does.
As well. Philip Billing, obviously remember him from obviously his Huddersfield Town days.
Mm-hmm.
A really, really good midfielder. Lewis Cook as well. The one player I do want to mention, though, is David Brooks. It's so lovely to see him back.
It is, and he's just recently signed a new contract till 2026. So I'm delighted the club have stood by him. Now he's getting better. I'm sure he's getting up to full fitness, and will be out there playing very, very soon. And he'll be like a new signing to us.
Mm-hmm.
He will be like a new signing to us. He was so good for us in the Premier League last time round. He will need a little bit longer, I think, to actually get back. He's, from what I understand and from speaking to people, after having cancer treatment, it does wear like the muscle down, the muscle tissue.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's got to get that back to a certain level where he can play in, week out. But, he's so dedicated to this club. And, it's brilliant to see. I remember the day well when it all come out, and it was quite heartbreaking for him. It was heartbreaking for all the fans. And, we was extremely worried. I believe, if I'm right in thinking, it was just after the Luton game as well, which he played in. And did he have a good game? I don't think he particularly did, but I think he probably knew at that point, and he still played. And that is the size of the man. But I've got no doubts he'll come back, and he'll get the biggest cheer, and he will hit the ground running.
Yeah, definitely, and obviously, I think it's one of those ones as well to look out for, and hopefully, all being well, that he will be in the Wales World Cup squad.
Yes.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed he will be.
I think he deserves it after what he's been through. He's done so much for Wales as well, and I'm sure that he'll get a bit of time. I think probably being realistic and from knowing what I know, I think probably middle of September, but that gives him enough time to actually build up some good performances to get himself in that side. Wales and Rob Page will know exactly what he can bring to the side.
Definitely.
So yeah,
definitely.
He'll be there.
He's a very, very good player, and I think it touched everybody in the football world when those kind of stories obviously come out. And yeah, obviously it's fantastic that he's managed to obviously beat it.
Yeah.
Anyway, of course. Cherries to leave Liverpool red-faced. Way, I like that. I like that. That's a good one. Oh, I have a really good question for Craig. Craig, would Henderson and James Milner get into Bournemouth midfield? I kind of know the answer, just driving home the point of how ridiculous my club is right now.
I think they probably, for their experience, they probably would do. Would they get, say, for example, if they both came together to Bournemouth, would they both play at the same time? I don't think so.
No.
But I think that's probably one thing that we are lacking across the side is that older head, that bit of experience, because you look at all the players that we've got, Zamora, youngster, come through the academy. You've got the likes of Lloyd Kelly come from Bristol City, very young player, captain. Senesi, I'm not sure how old he is. I think he's around about the 25 mark. So again, young. Adam Smith is probably the most he is the most experienced head in the side, and I think that we'll need to draw quite a lot on to him. In fact, sometimes I'm surprised he's not the captain, because he is vocal. He's very passionate. He's a very good player. So But when you look at our side, we are devoid of that little bit of that experience. So, I think one of them probably would do. If I was to have to pick one, I'd probably pick Milner over Henderson. Henderson's very much passed sidewards. We're quite progressive side. So I would go for Milner probably.
Milner. Very interesting. Very interesting. Brian says, well done, Bournemouth, for giving him a new contract. Takes a lot of stress away. Hopefully he comes back to his best. Yeah, definitely. And obviously, Kiefer Moore potentially, or obviously Dominic Solanke against Van Dijk and probably Gomez as well. Is the right-hand side somewhere to target as well? Because I think everyone's kind of noticed that the right-hand side is Liverpool's weakest at the moment.
Yeah. So you've got Christie on that side. You've got Adam Smith a little bit back off him. I reckon, if Solanke is fit and these horrible rumours that are doing the circuit at the moment aren't true, I think he will play. And I think he could cause some issues. Actually, the other night against Man United, I thought Van Dijk, and sorry to mention this, I thought Van Dijk was very poor.
Oh no! He was shocking. I think that's his worst Liverpool performance I've ever seen. I mean, I'm not saying much about obviously Robertson and Trent and Gomez, but just everyone was terrible. I think the only players I think that could probably go away with their heads held high in that game is probably Alisson, Harvey Elliott, Louis Diaz, and I think probably Mohamed Salah. The rest were very, very poor. Carvalho, when he came on as well, I thought he had a good wee cameo when he came on. But I think don't apologise by saying Van Dijk was poor. I think every Liverpool fan could kind of say that he was terrible, especially the defending for the first goal and obviously the second goal. And I think many people have kind of realised how poor Trent is defending. As well. So it's definitely a bit of a target. Ryan Christie is a player I've always admired as well from his obviously Celtic days, his Aberdeen days. I think he may be in Inverness as well, if I seem to remember as well. So I have watched a lot of Ryan Christie obviously coming through as well. So it could be very, very interesting game. A good interesting battle as well. Ali News says Fabinho is on his level, always not bad. Yeah, he is, I suppose. But we are coming into that time where we do obviously get to the starting 11. So what are you going to go for Saturday?
I think we'll probably go with what we've done so far. So I think we'll probably go with a back three. Personally, I think that will be. I think Travers in goal.
Yep.
I think we'll have Lloyd Kelly, Senesi in the middle, Metham on the right, and then we'll play effectively like wing back. So what they'll be is a little bit more advanced. They are, they do get forwards quite a bit. Adam Smith and Jordan Zamora. So I think they'll be Zamora on the left, very very good player, very very good player, and I would be surprised if we keep hold of him after this season, if we go down.
Oh, interesting.
Right-hand side, Adam Smith. And then I think in centre, we'll probably play. And just trying to think of this, I would say Lerma a little bit further back, more of a defensive midfield role. I think Lewis Cook and Philip Billing alongside him. And then I think the attack will probably be Marcus Tavernier on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, Ryan Christie. And I would hope Solanke up top. And I think that's probably how we will go. But what that means is we can put into, a midfield five.
Yeah.
We could, go more forwards, three up front. We can also go to a back five. So it's quite a fluid formation that Scott Parker's adopted this year. And, I think so far it's worked.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, and yeah, tried and tested, isn't it? It's tried and tested. I think you will pack the midfield. I think you're going to make it very, very difficult for us as well. Right, yeah, but guys, get your starting 11 in the chat as well, and obviously read that out before obviously we both go. I'm going to go. I'm going to get Alisson Becker in goal. I don't think he had any chance with the 2 goals the other night, and that save from Eriksen was world class as well. So Alisson in goal. Trent will continue right back. There's not really anybody else to come in. I think Ramsey's a couple of weeks away from coming in. It'll be Gomez because Kanai and Matip are still injured. It will definitely be Van Dijk as well. Left back, I'm going to go for a change. I'm actually going to go for Kostas Tsimikas. I think Kostas Tsimikas will come in for this game. I do think Robbo needs a rest. He has been playing loads of games. Actually, there was someone tweeted actually the players that are actually in the red zone of playing so many games for Liverpool and potentially getting an injury is actually Trent and Robbo. So they need a rest. So for me, I think this is the perfect opportunity for Kostas Tsimikas to come in and maybe make that left back berth his own. But I do think that Robbo needs a rest. Midfield, I'm bringing Fabinho back in. I think he will definitely come back in. I'm going to go Harvey Elliott up front. Harvey Elliott in the midfield on the right. Then I'm making a change. I'm bringing Fabio Carvalho in. I want to see a very youthful midfield. I really want to see a youthful midfield, in all honesty. And then up front, I think it's going to be Luis Diaz. I actually think that Roberto Firmino will keep his place. And then I'm going to go Mohamed Salah as well. So I do think it'll be a youthful midfield. But he might go for tried and tested. He might go for Fabinho, Henderson, and Elliott. He might do that. But it could be a very interesting one. But that's what I would go with. That is what I would go with. But don't be surprised on Saturday when you see Naby Keita's not fit. But I don't want to see James Milner in the team for the 4th game in a row. He's at that age now. He should not be playing games, too many games in a row, in all honesty. But yeah, that'll be what I would go with. Is Alisson, Trent, Gomez, Van Dijk, Tsimikas, Fabinho, Carvalho, Elliott, and then Diaz, Firmino, Salah. That is what I would. That's what I would go with. Anyway, Brian has said this is no disrespect to Bournemouth, but they're probably the best team for us to get back on track against. 3-0 win. Sorry, Craig. Yeah. We will get to score predictions, actually. We will get to score predictions right now, in fact. So what are you going to go for the game on Saturday?
Well, to be honest, I've predicted both Arsenal and Man City to win the last 2. In fact, I predicted us to beat Villa. So you know what? I'm going to just go with my heart. I think we're going to win 2-1. Up there saying something different, but I've managed to get every prediction right so far this season. So hopefully I can continue that trend. If not, got it wrong. So yeah, I'm going for that.
We shall see. We shall definitely see. Just a minute. Ali News says on the middle should be Fabinho, Elliott, and Carvalho. Yes, I agree. That would be my midfield as well. Brian's gone for Alisson, Trent, Gomez, Van Dijk, Tsimikas, so it's the same as me. Fabinho, Henderson, Elliott. That could potentially happen. And then he's gone Diaz, Carvalho. Jesus, I can't speak. Carvalho and Salah. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. My match prediction, my score prediction. I'm going to be honest. I would take a 1-0 right now. And I know we're going to do it. I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool. I think what is actually going to happen, I wouldn't be too surprised if you score the first goal. And then I think we probably come back and win 2-1. It's just something in the back of my mind that's obviously said that. But yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool as well. Guys, get your score predictions in the chat and I'll obviously read them out. Even everyone, Bournemouth must be looking forward to their 3 points.
Well, I wouldn't say anything too soon. But seeing as I've got every prediction right this season, I'm going to just back my team and see where it leads me. If I can get it right,
Yeah,
fourth
and
time, be happy.
Scott Parker, the last time he was at Anfield, he won 1-0 with Fulham. I think it was Mario Lemino winner, if I
Yes.
seem to remember. But it's going to be a very, very interesting game on Saturday. Guys, if you have any questions for Craig, then this is the time to get them in for sure. Jack says we've been shite. I think that is a bit of an understatement, Mr. McIndoe. I think that is a bit of an understatement, my friend. But yeah, definitely we have been really, really bad. Brian's got a very good. What's that?
We said some of that ourselves sometimes last season. Still managed to get promoted. We drew twice against Peterborough. Against Reading, we were 1-0 up. They pulled it to 1-1. They could have thrashed us in the end, and against Derby. So, yeah, I know how that feels, but just probably on a different level.
yeah, definitely. Brian's asked, are you happy with Scott Parker?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say so now. Last season, funny enough, even despite our start, which was, brilliant, the wheels come off, and like I was saying just a second ago, we didn't beat Peterborough at all last season. Reading, that 1-1 draw was atrocious, and to be fair, we was lucky to get a point out of that. Against Derby County, we got beat. The 2 games against Preston, and it seemed like that he just didn't know when something was going wrong, a bit like Jason Tyndall did the year before. He didn't know a way out of it, because that was Jason Tyndall's problem. To go back to that, we started that season very, very well. We was right at the very top, and then things started to happen. We got thrashed 3-0 at Reading. We got 3-1 at Reading. We got beat by Sheffield Wednesday, and it wasn't so much the defeat. It was just the manner of that defeat. The players just seemed completely confused. And then he made 3 substitutions in both games, all at the same time, that made absolutely no sense to anybody. And we thought he was a little bit like that. However, since we found out, towards that end of the season, we found out that Kiefer Moore was our plan B. Shriki Dembele, who is rumoured to be going to Besiktas after a very short spell with us. Bit disappointed about that one. Seems Scott Parker is very, very ruthless with the players. That said, but yeah, I would say I'm happy with him now. If you'd asked me 6 months ago, I probably would have said, oh, crikey, no, not really. But yeah, I think he has got plan B. Maybe Ben Brereton Diaz is going to be a plan C. This whole new formation that he's playing, he's mixed it up. It's working in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would say I am now, but the reservations were certainly out at times last season.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think as well that it was a bit of a learning curve for him. It was definitely a learning curve for him the last time he was in the Premier League. I think he was obviously just like sort of getting used to like being a Premier League manager, and I don't think he kind of adjusted to the Premier League. But this season, I think he's kind of learned his ways now, and I think as well he will get points. To be fair, I think the best place I think to get your points is probably at the Vitality or Dean Court or whatever you call it. And now
we all call it Dean Court, but for sponsorship reasons, it's called the Vitality.
Yeah. So I think as well. I think that's going to be very, very key for Bournemouth, and obviously trying to stay in this league. And yeah, I do think Scott Parker is a very good manager, and I think he is. He's definitely learned from his Fulham days. Let me just say that. Craig, has been an absolute pleasure to get you on yet again to preview Liverpool against Bournemouth. Again, I know I asked you this at the start, but obviously tell people where they can find you.
So the channel is called Up the Cherries in all departments. If you search on YouTube for UTCIAD, on there we have got the Harry Redknapp preview show. Of course, Douglas was on that. It is 2.5 hours long, so do break it into chunks. Don't watch 2.5 hours unless you've got a lot of time on your hands. But we've also got former players, former managers, former owners on there. We've got our opposition preview shows. There's loads of different content. We even had David Beckham's former agent on the show, going back to last year.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Very interesting. What was said about that Ryan Fraser situation, actually. And what I posed to him was, do you think that the agent would have had, an influence on that? He said, I don't think so. I know so. He said, I know that agent would have told him not to play for Bournemouth because it could have hampered his chances of going to Arsenal. In fact, he didn't go to Arsenal in the end. He went to Newcastle, but that was the rumour.
Yeah. But no, it's been a pleasure, absolute pleasure. And
yeah, as always, mate. Thank you so much for having me on.
You're very, very welcome, and obviously, no doubt, I'll obviously get you on for the return game at the Vitality or Dean Court, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, obviously, thank you very much for watching. If you have obviously missed this show, then please do give us a like as you leave the video, and let us know your score prediction and let us know your starting 11 as well. Obviously, Liverpool fans and Bournemouth fans, please do get involved in the comments section down below. But guys, it'll be an interesting game on Saturday. Should be a very, very interesting game on Saturday. Can Liverpool bounce back, or will Bournemouth get a very famous victory? We shall see anyway. But until then, it is goodbye from the both of us, and we'll see you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye for now.